It is with a very warm heart that we welcome you to today's episode of Tax Matters. My name is Olumoyiwa Matuloko. How's your week been and how is business going? The tax administration system in Nigeria has been undergoing huge transformation in recent times. At the Federal Revenue Service, there has been a concerted effort to introduce information technology into the matrix to make life easier for the taxpayer. And today, as guest on the program, we have the director in charge of the Information and Communication Technology Department at the FRS as our guest on the program, in the person of Mr. Kola Okunla. Mr. Okunla will be talking to us about how his department has been contributing towards that effort of the FRS to automate the system. Mr. Okunla, welcome to Tax Matters.
Good morning, and thank you very much.
Yes. Like you heard us say in the introduction, ICT is the way to go, is the in thing. And you are here as head of that department. In what ways has your department contributed to the effort of the FRS in automating the tax system?
The mission statement of the Federal Inland Revenue Service is to operate a transparent and efficient tax system that optimizes tax revenue collection and voluntary compliance. So if you look at the keywords there, we have transparency and efficiency. The information and communication technology has become a well-known business enabler in every sector of the human affairs. And we have a rare opportunity. I see it as a rare opportunity and a rare privilege to be given this chance to be able to make a difference in the life of our country and in the development of tax administration in our country. So some of the projects and initiatives that we have embarked upon were meant to reduce the burden of tax compliance, to make life easier for our taxpayers, to make it easier for them to fulfill their civic obligation. So I will go into the details of those projects as we move on. But some of the ones that I can quickly mention are the e-tax payment initiatives, whereby we provide electronic channels to enable taxpayers to make their payments at the comfort of their homes or offices through any device that they may have, be it mobile, iPad, Samsung, or any other device they have, or laptops, desktops, as long as they have internet connection or data connection through their e-banking platforms. That is just a tip of the iceberg. We also want to make it easy for people to be able to file their tax returns, and so the ICT department has contributed to the ITAS project, which enables online e-filing. That is, it will enable taxpayers, rather than having to come to FRS with manual documents, with paper documents, they can do the filing online at the comfort of their offices or homes, as the case may be. So as I'm talking, we are already touching on assessment, collection, and accounting, because the e-filing platform enables self-assessment, whereas the e-tax payment platforms enables the collection and also accounting, because at the back end of the e-tax payment platform, we have the tracking of payments and accounting. So you can see that it is a rare opportunity. It is an opportunity indeed for us to be part of this project. We know that it's just a seed that we are planting now, but in many years to come, the real outcome will become very clear to all stakeholders.
Now, talking about assessment, talking about collection, talking about accounting, has the average taxpayer been able to make use of these different initiatives as we speak? In the area of assessment, for example, is it system-wide?
Well, currently, we have launched the ITAS in the pilot offices, the large tax office. Okay. So, but it is being rolled out, and our plan is to roll it out to all the other offices by the end of December 2015.
Okay. What about payment? Is it still restricted to the large taxpayers?
For the payment e-tax payment platform cuts across board. So all taxpayers can make their tax payments using the e-payment platforms, irrespective of their sizes.
At the end of year 2013, the ITAS began to go live in the pilot offices across Nigeria, first at the large tax office Abuja in December, and then Lagos in March 2014. On Friday, 12 December 2014, the FRS introduced the new electronic filing platform to taxpayers in Lagos. The platform had before then been introduced to taxpayers in Abuja. On Thursday, 26 February 2015, the FRS, in collaboration with NIMS and System Specs, along with the participating banks, introduced the FRS self-service pay channels and the taxpayer's guide to e-filing. The event once again took place in Lagos.
Now, we want you to further shed light on the e-payment platform. What do I require to pay through that platform?
For you to be able to make payment through the e-payment platform, you need to have a bank account. And you also need to have access to the bank's internet payment platform. So through the bank's internet payment platform or mobile payment platform, m-banking or e-banking, you will be able to make the payments. All you need to do is just to go to the portion that says payment, and under it you will see e-bills pay. Then when you click on that, you will see the portion that says FIRS tax. Also, you can also make use of remitter to make such payments. But with respect to the pay direct, currently you can only pay in bank branches. But our plan is to also make sure that at the end of the day, that platform too, that's the pay direct platform, will also eventually be empowered and enabled for taxpayers to be able to make their payments at the comfort of their homes. But currently now, you can make use of the two platforms, eTaxPay as well as Remitter, to make payments at the comfort of your office or your homes.
Are you saying that those two systems are different?
They are two separate systems. I mentioned three different systems now. Okay. I mentioned Pay Direct, eTaxPay, and the Remitter.
Okay.
The reason there are three different platforms, and the reason for that is because we want to democratize payments. When there is competition, there is efficiency. Competition or efficiency is a fallout of competition. But when there is monopoly leads to inefficiency. So it's just to give the taxpayer the options to choose the means by which the taxpayer prefers to pay their taxes.
We wonder how robust those systems are. We're looking at, I'm trying to pay, I make a mistake. We're looking at, I pay, the bank plays pranks. You may want to tell us that it's not possible. We want to know from you. But I make a mistake. I pay for VAT instead of complex income tax. I want to pay 50,000. I mistakenly press 500,000. What are the remedies available to me?
Yeah, thank you very much. The platforms, we have a lot of validation systems to help the taxpayer using such platforms so that in order to reduce the incidence of error. But having said that, to err is human. no matter how good a system is, there could be human error. And that is why the Federal Inland Revenue Service has a mechanism known as the tax refund process. We have our tax refund process, which enables, and also we also have the reclassification process. Assuming a taxpayer wanted to pay for VAT or withholding tax, but mistakenly paid for CGT, there is what we call reclassification. It can be reclassified to the right tax type. Also, if there's overpayment, we have our tax refund process. We have been applying that. A lot of taxpayers who made mistakes were refunded through going through the process of the tax refund process.
If it's classification, for example, how long does it take?
Well, if it is the classification, it depends on, now there are some requirements from the taxpayer. The taxpayer is required to provide some documentations. So, but what we have noticed is a lot of taxpayers do not provide all the required documentations to do this. So it could take, if all the relevant documentations are provided, it can be done very fast. But when the documentations are not complete, then it takes a longer period. So a lot actually depends on the taxpayer to provide the relevant documents.
What about if it is refund?
Both the reclassification and the refund, they need the taxpayer to provide the relevant documents, which are all itemized in the FRS website. If you go to FRS website, www.firs.gov.ng, all the required and relevant documents for refund and reclassification are stated on that website.
There was a time in the past when people paid through the banks, when we were told that if we discovered the mistake before the close of business on that day, the bank could make the correction before 12 midnight. Is that in the past, or is it part of the system now?
That is still part of the system now. That if there is an error before midnight, the error can be corrected. And what we have observed is that when the taxpayer is when taxpayers pay by themselves, there is less error than when they go to bank to pay. Because there is a third party. A teller has to key in information, and the teller may make mistakes. So it is the probability of making mistake is less when the taxpayer does the transaction by themselves, because they know the implication. It will cause some delay for them, so they will not. They will try to be as careful as possible, and that has actually reflected in our experience so far.
Every day, my people they for work. Some they do office work. Some get it them own business. So all of them want good road, constant power for better life. Whether now office work, oh yeah, pay your tax. Whether now your own business, oh pay your tax. If you want a better life, oh pay your tax. Now your civic responsibility, pay your tax. Better soup, now money cook oh yes. Nothing goes for nothing, my brother. If you want potable water, security and hospital for make life jolly.
That's right. Good roads, good hospitals, portable water, adequate security all come from taxpayers' money. Play your part in making Nigeria great. Everybody, small scale, big companies, entrepreneurs, do the right thing. Pay your tax. This message is from the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS.
To shed more light on the processes and procedure for tax refund, we spoke to Mr. Okunola's colleague at the Revenue Accounting Department at the FIRS, Mrs. Frances Okorafor. Ms. Okorafor, you are welcome to Tax Matters.
Thank you.
We had a guest on the program a few weeks ago who was trying to draw a parallel between the Nigerian tax system and that of the US of A. And it was going on about how at a certain period of the year, people look forward to getting refunds for overpaid taxes. Do we have refund operational in the Nigerian tax system as we speak?
We have a holistic, tax administrative system, and refund, is part of it. It's part of the administration, and taxation cannot be complete without you having to refund excess payments. Since 2013, we have been refunding in earnest. Even before then, there was refund, but not with FIRS. But taxpayers were being refunded through the Accountant General's office.
Okay.
But since the appropriation of the refund by the National Assembly, the taxpayers now can be refunded within FIRS, and we've been doing so as at we speak now. We've refunded over 1,000 taxpayers.
For real?
For real. And whenever you come forward, with your case, we deal with the case, case by case basis, and we make sure that every, thing that needs to be done in terms of auditing your firm to be sure that what you are claiming is correct. We do that, and do that with speed as well, so that if you're, found to be a taxpayer that should be refunded, you will be refunded accordingly. So it is real.
Talking about case-by-case basis, in what instances do refunds arise from your experience?
Okay, like I told you before, double payment can happen. That can come from the banks. You want to input something and you made mistakes, and then you found out that that mistake, you need to be refunded of that amount. That can happen. Like I also mentioned, system error, it can happen. That can cause some distortions. When you discover that, you can also come for refund. There are also tax payments, that you can be assessed wrongly. So if you're assessed wrongly and you overpay, you can also come back and say, okay, I was assessed wrongly, and then I need the overpayment paid. Stamp duty, for instance, you can go and pay stamp duty more than what you're supposed to be paid. If that is the case, you can be refunded. Zero-rated, exemption, that is also another avenue that you can, be refunded. Input VAT claims, over vertebral persons, or zero-rated, like I said, is also another avenue. Errors in computation.
I want to put 50,000, I put 500,000.
Exactly. Payments made, meant for other, tax authorities. For instance, payment for FIRS can be, or for state can be, mistakenly, be sent to. That also is another avenue, for refund and all that. Payment made for other agencies. It could be for another agency and then wrongly paid. That also is another way of, refunding and all that. There's so many, a whole list.
Which one is easiest to claim a refund for?
No one is easy.
Case by case.
No one is easy, and no one is.
I want to type 50,000 and I type 500,000. It is very clear that 450 has been wrongly paid.
It's government money.
It's my money.
It's your money, but any money that has gone, into government's coffers, you must make sure that, it is properly, looked into before you refund to the owner. I cannot just come and say this is simple, and I write out for refund. No, you must.
You know that people also complain that when they come for refund, that's when you start talking about audits and all sorts,
It's in the law.
Clear case. It's in the law, but for the taxpayer, it's about his pocket. He wants to pay for VAT. No, you even spoke about double entry. A few weeks ago, somebody wanted to buy a ticket. The system was saying something like the money had not gone through. And lo and behold, in about 5 minutes, now discovered that she had paid twice. You go to the airline, you claim, you ask for a refund, or you want to buy another ticket, I mean, that can be resolved. If that happens, I've been assessed, you agree that that is, okay, well, it's self-assessment now. But assuming that I'm due to pay 550,000 as education tax, and in the process of doing it, I pay twice. What is government money about that?
That will not go into auditing. But, in my system, I can see it. It's also a form of investigation because I will need to go into my system. You have complained. I go into my system and see whether, these taxes, actually, they were, remitted twice and all that. There and then I'll process your payment.
The bank cannot pay me back. It is FIRS. But that one is easy. Yes. But you have not answered my question about audit. Why do you always insist on auditing me when I ask for refund? Why do you insist?
It's in the law. And FIRS is based on law.
Okay. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
We'll
So we must go through that audit. And actually, auditing actually helps both the taxpayer and also the taxman, because it helps you to know the status of your tax.
I agree. And talking about procedure, what steps do I take if there's, from my own perspective, a need for refund? What steps do I take?
If you find out that you have overpayment of taxes or that you need to be refunded for mistakes and all that, the first thing that you should do is that, of course, you're a taxpayer. You have your own jurisdiction. You know where your tax files are. You can complain, by writing, either by writing yourself or by using your tax agents and all that. You approach our office, any of the offices, especially where your tax file is domiciled, and lodge your complaint in writing, addressing to the chief executive. Then it will come to the head office. The process starts from the field. That's one part. You can also go straight to the head office and apply through the same chief executive. The process starts from there. So all you need to do is you state the reason why you're applying for refund, who is actually applying for the refund. That means your company, your tax identification number, your the tax type that you're applying for, and if you have documents to back up what you're asking for, you put all those documents together, including at the end of the day the original certificates that you have, receipts. That will come later, but initially you back it up with these other documents. And when it comes, we look at it depending on the type, like you were asking me. If it's the type that we can investigate through our system immediately and see whether it is correct and then process immediately, we'll do that. If it is the one that will go for audit, we'll quickly go for audit and then conclude within a space of time. Because in the refund, they said 90 days, when the service decides. So within that period, we use it to investigate, and after that, if you're to be refunded, then your money is to be paid to you.
On average, how long does it take?
For now, it takes less than 90 days for audited ones. But for the ones that don't need just desk investigation and all that, within 30 days, you're done. But we're improving. We know that with automation, with iTax coming on board, it will be already on board, not coming on board, it's already on board. Things will improve because the refund platform is there. So the speed will be there. Yeah. So we hope that within few days or within few weeks, we should be able to do all that, and then the taxpayer receives his refund. We're improving by the day.
Time. Because of time constraints, we have to call it a day. But we assure you that next week, Mr. Okunola and Mrs. Okorafor will still be with us on Tax Matters. And we will still be looking at how ICT is being used to drive the tax administration system in Nigeria forward. Do well to join us and have a blessed week ahead.